Tamar Braxton's ex, Jeremy Robinson, has just posted a shocking and humiliating video of her in tears, begging for him to take her back. It seems like Jeremy is determined to drag Tamar's name through the mud until the very end. The video has left fans stunned as it raises questions about why you would go to such lengths to embarrass her. After all the drama that's unfolded between them, many thought Tamar was finally done with him, especially after she exposed his cheating with multiple women and accused him of spending her money on his side chicks. Things took an even wilder turn when Tamar's longtime rival, Tommy Lee, came out in support of her, calling Jeremy a user and publicly blasting him for how he treated Tamar. It seemed like Tamar had finally gained some clarity and was ready to move on, but this latest video has thrown everyone for a loop. In it, Tamar appears to be pleading for Jeremy to take her back despite everything that's happened. If you think that's bad, buckle up, because there's more. Jeremy hasn't been shy about speaking his mind when it comes to Tamar, and it's clear he's not done airing out their dirty laundry. At this point, it's hard to ignore the fact that Jeremy has been a constant source of turmoil in Tamar's life since the day they met. They've been through engagement, marriage, divorce, and countless public scandals, yet the drama just keeps escalating. It seems like there's no end in sight for the mess that surrounds their relationship. Now, let's be clear, Tamar has definitely been through it, and it's hard to blame her for everything that's gone down. However, many fans are pointing out that there were some serious red flags from the beginning. Whether Tamar was blinded by love or hopeful that Jeremy would change, it's obvious that she's stuck by his side through all the ups and downs. But now, it looks like she's paying the price for ignoring those signs. Just last week, things reached a boiling point when Tamar found out that Jeremy had been cheating on her. Well, sort of. According to Jeremy, it technically wasn't cheating because they weren't together anymore. Here's where it gets even more complicated. Tamar and Jeremy had secretly gotten married and divorced without telling anyone. Yes, you read that right. While they're usually quick to put their relationship drama on blast for the world to see, they somehow managed to keep their marriage and subsequent divorce a secret. Tamar had fans convinced that they were still together and that Jeremy had betrayed her again. She even shared a cryptic post saying, "Played in my face for a 25-year-old, shaking my head, took my jewelry, took me to Turks, and all along had a hole. I hate you, Jeremy Robinson." She later revealed that after finding out Jeremy had cheated on her with Tommy Lee, she went ahead and married him, only for it all to come crashing down again. This situation is beyond messy, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon.
I married you after you ate somebody's whole booty sandwich. Yeah, I'm not trying to make this a big deal. I swear, it's not about, y'all, it's $1,000. It's not, make or break. It's the point. The point is that you wanted me to sit back and let you not only use my card. Let's just say it's a mix-up. Okay, fine. But now it's different because you're using my card for your extracurricular activities. And let me just keep it gangsta. I wouldn't even trip on that. You know what I'm saying? Why? It's not that serious. Me and your relationship status has changed. The way I see you have changed. You know what I'm saying? Just like you outside, baby, I'm outside too. Like, let's stop pretending like you is the last of the Mohicans. You are not. You know what I'm saying? It's just not like, oh, I'm a...
That situation should have definitely been kept behind closed doors, Tamar. It was an embarrassment, to say the least. But just when it seems things couldn't get any worse, Junior dropped a bombshell. He came forward and called her Dulu, publicly revealing that they had actually been divorced for 6 months. Tamar's reaction was completely uncalled for, and instead of diffusing the situation, she only made it more chaotic. Her outburst didn't just add fuel to the fire, it completely engulfed it, turning an already messy situation into a full-blown disaster.
Very clear. I've been single for the last 6 months. We have been trying to identify what that looks like, closing one chapter and figuring out what it's like to be friends again. I've been very specific about my boundaries. I've been very specific about where we stand as friends. Go date anybody you want. I'm gonna date when I'm ready. I am emotionally unavailable to you, and I'm physically unavailable to you. Now, birthday comes up, plans are put in place. Of course, I want someone that I consider to be family to be involved in that, because If anybody knows her, she is big on birthdays. I don't lead people on. I'm very direct. Listen, if anything that you're doing or that you want to do comes with an agenda, I don't want to be involved in it at all. I don't want you to be involved in my birthday plans. I don't want you to come to Turks and Caicos. This is not a reconciliation time. Whatever you decide you're doing is because we're friends and because I'm still being involved in my son's life. I still would love for you to have a relationship with my children, but not to the extent that you make up these stories that aren't real. I went to New Orleans. I booked my room at Four Seasons on booking.com and didn't realize that the card I'm using, which also ends in the same 3 last numbers, was tied to something that we booked several months ago. No harm, no foul. We're talking $900. Stop it. While I'm in New Orleans for a funeral, my really good 25 plus year friend who passed away, I spent time with his family. I extended my stay because I needed time to reset. So I get a call yesterday. Hey, did you stay at Four Seasons? Yeah, I did. In fact, I extended. I gave them my card and everything's good. Why? What's up? Oh, well, I got a call about some chick who used my card at Four Seasons. I said, that's not possible. This is funny. Ha ha ha. What are you talking about? Well, I thought we can be friends. We can talk about it, but this is laughable. I didn't stay with anybody at Four Seasons. I'm not seeing anybody. It wasn't on a date. None of that. If I was, you're my friend. What do I have to hide about that? I'll just say cooler heads didn't prevail. And next thing you know, I'm on her story and I'm being accused of things which are just blatantly not true. I have never led Tamar Braxton on. I never will, nor will I.
It gets even worse when one of his baby mamas came forward, blowing the lid off his disturbing behavior with Tamar, exposing a fetish he allegedly has for black women. She claimed that his obsession with black women runs so deep that he bizarrely refers to himself as light-skinned while chocolate, trying to position himself as part of the black community. He even labeled himself the minority within the minority, adding a delusional layer to his identity crisis. According to her, he would frequent clubs almost nightly, preying on beautiful black women and bringing them home, feeding into a fantasy that blurred the lines between admiration and outright objectification. The baby mama didn't hold back, detailing how rude, arrogant, and racially insensitive he could be. His behavior, she said, went far beyond just womanizing. It was degrading, and this was coming from someone who claimed to be an ally of the black community, often boasting about being a protector of black women. Yet, his actions painted a very different picture. He wasn't protecting anyone, she implied. Instead, he was exploiting and using these women to satisfy his own twisted desires. This expose threw everything into chaos. The baby mama went so far as to call him a colonizing predator, accusing him of using his relationships with black women to fulfill a fetish for biracial babies. She claimed that he craved the validation that came with being connected to black culture and wanted his children to represent that connection, as if having biracial kids would grant him access or acceptance into the black community. She painted him as someone who would stop at nothing to feed his ego, using the lives of others to feel important or relevant in a world where he didn't truly belong. What made everything even messier was that Tommy, yes, that Tommy, came out in support of Tamar, corroborating the baby mama's claims. Tommy didn't mince words, calling him a user who was only ever out for himself. According to Tommy, the only person JR had ever truly loved was himself, and Tamar was just another pawn in his selfish game. Let's break it down. Tamar had been through enough already, navigating her complicated career and personal life under the intense spotlight of fame. The last thing she needed was someone using her to fulfill their own warped fantasies, all while pretending to be something they weren't. Tamar had initially kept quiet, trying to maintain some semblance of privacy, but this revelation made it clear that the situation was more sinister than anyone had thought. And with Tommy stepping in to back up the story, it became harder to ignore. The baby mama continued to dish out the dirty details. She claimed that JR had a pattern of pursuing black women specifically because of the power dynamic it created. He liked feeling in control, she suggested, and he thrived on being able to enter spaces where he wasn't naturally welcomed. By fetishizing black women and producing biracial children, he was attempting to manufacture his own sense of belonging in a culture that, at its core, was never his to claim. But it wasn't just about control. It was about validation. He was desperate for the approval of the black community, the baby mama alleged, so much so that he was willing to manipulate his relationships to achieve it. She went on to say that his public persona as an ally was nothing more than a carefully crafted image to cover up his real motives. Behind the scenes, he was far from the supportive figure he portrayed. In reality, his so-called allyship was nothing but a front for his insidious behavior. And let's talk about how his actions contradicted his words. Claiming to be a protector of black women while treating them as objects of desire and symbols of his own ego was hypocrisy at its finest. The baby mama argued that he wasn't protecting black women at all. He was exploiting them for his own gain. And Tamar, unfortunately, found herself caught in the middle of his twisted game. It was a messy, scandalous situation, and the revelations only fueled the drama. Tommy's support of Tamar added credibility to the accusations, and the baby mama's expose raised more questions about JR's true intentions. Was he really an ally, or was he just using his proximity to black culture to bolster his own image? Fans were divided. Some found it hard to believe that someone who claimed to be so woke and progressive could harbor such problematic views and behaviors. Others, however, weren't surprised. They saw JR's actions as part of a larger pattern of men who claim to be allies but fail to respect the women they supposedly stand up for. The story also sparked a larger conversation about how men like JR use their relationships with black women to validate themselves, all while perpetuating harmful stereotypes and power dynamics. The fallout was immediate. Tamar, who had already been dealing with enough public scrutiny, found herself once again in the headlines, but this time for all the wrong reasons. Her relationship with JR was put under the microscope, and the public wanted answers. Would she speak out? Would she confirm or deny the baby mama's claims? And how would JR respond to being exposed in such a damning way? The baby mama's expose didn't just shed light on JR's personal life, it also forced a conversation about how society views relationships between black women and non-black men. The fetishization of black women is nothing new, but hearing it laid out in such a raw, personal way brought the issue into sharp focus. For JR, the accusations were a damning blow to his carefully constructed image as an ally and protector. For Tamar, it was yet another hurdle in her already tumultuous life. And for the rest of us watching from the sidelines, it was a reminder that not everything is as it seems. Some people will say all the right things, but their actions will reveal their true intentions. In the end, it wasn't just about JR's fetish or his ego. It was about how his behavior affected the women in his life and the lasting impact it would have on them moving forward. We all thought Tamar Braxton had finally moved on from JR and was stepping into a better chapter of her life. She's a Braxton, after all, and being involved in these low-budget dramas seemed beneath her. But the latest rumors have us rethinking everything, especially after JR's fresh claims that Tamar is allegedly trying to get back with him. According to an insider, JR has been telling people that he has a video of Tamar crying and begging him to take her back. The insider claimed that in the video, Tamar supposedly admitted that the reason she called him out on social media was to get his attention. Her goal, allegedly, was to convince him to reconcile. The bombshell here: it turns out Tamar had been doing all this just to get JR's attention, but he wasn't interested. So, according to the rumor mill, she staged all this drama to push him into making a move. And now, JR is allegedly showing the video around, boasting that he can have Tamar back anytime he wants because, in his words, she'll never get over him. JR is said to be acting like he had Tamar completely locked down, with no chance of her moving on from him. Honestly, this whole situation has fans shaking their heads. It's hard to believe Tamar would put herself through this. As one person pointed out, she's a Braxton. She deserves so much better than someone who's so determined to dot her out at every opportunity. The fans are clocking everything, and they're not here for it. Many are expressing disappointment that Tamar is even caught up in this mess. They feel she's too talented, too strong, and too valuable to waste her energy on someone who seems more interested in humiliating her than building her up. Tamar, get it together, sis. Everyone knows you can do better. This isn't the legacy a Braxton should be tied to. Drama with a man who's out here trying to flex power over her through some alleged video. Fans are rooting for Tamar to get her head in the game and realize her worth because clearly Jer isn't the one. And they've been leaving comments saying, this is embarrassing. Tamar, please, for the love of God, delete all socials and focus on true healing from within. He doesn't like you. I'm sorry, Tamar Bra is embarrassing as hell out here, acting a whole fool over a white man that was out here eating another woman's behind and then told the Bible scriptures, get her the F up out of here. And this is just so embarrassing. Like to see her name plus the headline just makes my heart sink, cuz like, be come on, you are Tamar mother up. And Braxton, why is you crashing out behind it, man? I've got to know what y'all think about this. Is Tamar spiraling, or is Jer just chasing clout? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the next video.